Today we're going to go out and see what Redfin says are the top 10 most walkable neighborhoods in Boise. We're also going to do a quick market update. And if you thought the market went down like it's been going down, well, guess what? You're wrong. It actually went up. So stay tuned. What's up, everybody? This is Shawn Tomich with the Living in Boise group, and if this is your first time to the channel, then make sure to subscribe and tap the notification bell below so that you don't miss a thing when it comes to moving to Boise and the Treasure Valley. Thank you so much to all of you that checked out my last week's video on Mountain Home. I really appreciate all your likes and your comments. I got some more subscribes from last week, so thank you so much to all of you for that as well. Please make sure and leave a comment if there are any other outlying smaller cities or areas that you'd like to see or like me go off an adventure to, or if there's any adventures you'd like me to go and take off and go do. I'm really not opposed to doing that really at any time at all, so please give me an excuse to go out and do some adventuring. It is winter time, so our adventuring is, limited. You can go out and do some cross-country skiing. That's kind of starting to pick up right now since the snow is starting to hit the mountains. Snowmobiling, ice skating, those kinds of things. But like I said, if there are any outlying cities or any other things that you'd like me to go out and take a look at, or real estate items or homes or styles of homes or anything like that, just make sure to comment below and I'll make sure and get that content for you. So let's talk market update. Now listen, there are always going to be those people out there that are doom and gloomers no matter what. No matter what I put out, no matter what the market's doing, there's going to be those people that are talking market crash all the time. That's just all they do. Oh, the market's going to crash, the market's going to crash. It was supposed to crash last year. It was supposed to crash the year before that. It was supposed to crash the year before that. This goes on, and it's supposed to crash right now. And I've been explaining to you that the market isn't crashing. It's just not. And if it was, I'd be the first person to tell you that, because if you follow my channel, you know I just tell you the truth. That's all there is to it. So the market is not crashing. It did not crash. In fact, there are so many people that relish this doom and gloom that there are people that put out these YouTube videos and have channels that are just specifically dedicated to nothing but putting out real estate crash videos. There's a guy right now on YouTube making over $30,000 a month just putting out market crash garbage that people are just gobbling up and thinking that it's fact when it's not. It's just not. That's why you have to deal with your local professional in the local market. Our market peaked in June. I think it was Ada County was like 602, 603, 603,000 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So it peaked in June. And then July it went down to 3 or 4%. August it went down 3 or 4%. And then September it went down 3 or 4%. And October, the market went up. It went up by $20,000. So the median home price in Ada County went from $540,000 in September to $561,500 in October. So the market went up by 20 grand or 3.9%. And it did exactly what I told you I was starting to see it do. If you watched my videos, not last week, maybe the week before last week, I was telling you that the market's starting to see some resistance. So letting you know that we're out there, we're making offers, we have listings on the market, we know what's coming in. The market was starting to see some resistance just like the stock market does. And we were starting, we're starting to compete with offers again. So if the home is priced right, we're competing with offers again. So our market's not dead, it's not crashed, it's absolutely slowed down. 1,000,000%. The fire hose is turned off down to a trickle, but people are still buying. And they're always going to be buying no matter what. Buying and selling no matter whether the market's hot, cold, whether it's a buyer's market, seller's market. It's either good or bad for one party or another. And real estate's being transacted during that time one way or another. It just is. So we're just doing much less in volume. So we actually did 32%. Sold 32% less homes in October this year than we did the year before, which that actually is a lot less. So like I said, we're still selling homes, we're still selling real estate, we're selling a lot less, but the market's not falling apart by any means. Last week I had another great and successful week. Actually, the last few weeks we've had some really good weeks because towards the end of the year, this is kind of normal, is we see people trying to get things done like right before Thanksgiving and then right before Christmas. So this is kind of normal. We see some pickup at this time of year. Had a really successful week last week, had a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of phone calls, and exchanged a lot of text messages with a few new clients that are prospective clients of mine that are coming into the Boise and Treasure Valley. So if you already know that this is the place for you because you've been following my channel and you know that Boise and Mountain Home and Kuna and Emmett and all these other small towns and all these other cities that are connected to Boise and the Treasure Valley. But if you know that Boise and the Treasure Valley is the place for you, because like I said, you've been following my channel, then just call me, email me, text me. Days, nights, weekends, myself, my team, we've got your back when it comes to moving to Boise and the Treasure Valley. So according to Redfin, they have this list of the top 10 most walkable neighborhoods in the Boise city. So I thought, well, if I were a tourist or an out-of-towner coming into the Boise market, that's probably what I'd do, is I'd want to see what these neighborhoods are all about. I'd want to see what the top 10 most walkable neighborhoods in Boise look like. So let's go take a look. So number one on our list is downtown Boise. And I would have to say I would agree with this being number one on our list, because our downtown area is absolutely 100% very walkable, very nice, very clean, very well taken care of. So that right there is the Grove Hotel. There's a really nice restaurant called Emilio's in there. That's pretty much right in the center of our downtown area. And our downtown area is actually really nice. It's really improved drastically over the last 10 to 15 years and become an area that has a lot of draw. So Boise was, just a couple years ago, Boise was rated number 2 for the number 2 hipster area in the country. So our downtown area it's quite improved. There's a lot of craft beer areas, a lot of bars, a lot of really cool places to eat, sushi. Trader Joe's is down here. Just kind of really anything and everything you need is gonna be in our downtown area. And then also what's really cool is that if you like that night scene and the nightlife, then the Boise downtown area is really pretty much only the place that you're gonna get it in this area. And so we do have several bars and nightclubs throughout the downtown area that are a lot of fun to go to. Nothing really big or huge or popping, like a big club in downtown Seattle or in Portland or anything like that, but really nice clubs, places you can feel comfortable and safe going to. And as far as walkable areas, like I said, this scored the highest, and I absolutely would agree with that. Everybody feels really comfortable walking around in downtown Boise and eating and working and playing and just everything that we do here. And there's, you can kind of see the Capitol poking in back behind there. So just a nice area. So if I go to exactly where the pin is located, this is Morris Hill, which is number 2 on our list. As far as walkable cities, it scored a 69 out of 100 on the list. And so the majority of the homes in here and in this area are all built around the 1940s, 1950s. So to be completely honest with you, this is actually a pretty old kind of I don't want to say run down, that's not the right description, but just kind of an older area. It's not really anything exciting or nice. The properties in here are valued between $300,000 to $400,000, but that's only because they're right here in Boise. They're not really anything that special or great. And when we come out to where we're at, we're coming right out here to Orchard, right next to a thrift store. And let's see, kind of a little seedy pub right next to a tattoo and piercing place. So you kind of get the idea of what kind of an area this is. And to be completely honest with you, in my opinion, it's really not that great of an area. So I'm not really sure how this is getting a number 2 on the list, or what this list is really based off of. Yeah, this is just an okay area. Would I feel safe walking around here? Sure. Would I feel safe walking my kids around here at night? Probably not. So, I mean, not like unsafe, but you know, it's not that great of an area, but this is number 2, so I wanted to show it to you. So number 3 on our list is the north end. And I cheated a little bit on this one, and I didn't go right to exactly where the pin dropped me. I think it dropped me about 3 blocks that way toward like 10th. But I went directly to Harrison Boulevard because I know that this is actually just a really beautiful area. This is actually a historic district of ours. And so anything that's on and along this road, Harrison Boulevard, is a member of that historic district. And so there's things that you can and cannot do to the outside of your home without approval of that historic district, because they want to maintain the look and feel of the 40s, 50s, the time and era of when these homes were built in. So as far as walkability is concerned, absolutely, this is very high on the list, this area. My very first apartment at 18 years old was just right down here many, many years ago. And so I really fell in love with the north end. I've covered the north end before. Excuse me, it's cold out here. Look, there's snow. I've covered the north end before, and to kind of explain to you the typical North Ender, I really want to get over across the street to this home real quick just to show you, because this is very typical of what we're trying to maintain in the North End here. Are homes that look just like this. Beautiful Victorian style. But anyway, as far as the typical North Enders, so that you can understand the type of people that gravitate toward this area, would be people that do not use gas mowers. In fact, would be probably pretty upset with you if you used your gas mower out here. They might hold an HOA meeting about you if they found out that you missed a recycling day. You most certainly wouldn't show up to any restaurant and use a straw. And these aren't bad things. I'm just kind of trying to explain to you the type of people that gravitate toward the North End. The Boise Co-op is down here in downtown, and which is just, you know, all organic, you know, those types of things. Let's see, what else is the Boise Co-op that I could, it's, you know, it's, I'm trying to think of the ways that I can explain it without saying things like the granola area or the hippie area, because that's not really the best way to describe it, but it's kind of a way to describe it. You know, that's kind of how downtown areas usually kind of are. But anyway, this is Harrison Boulevard. This is the North End. And I would absolutely rate this very high on the list. Harrison Boulevard takes you straight down to Bogus Basin. So if you just stay on Harrison Boulevard, that's going to take you to Bogus Basin Road, and it's going to take you all the way up to Bogus Basin, where we can do some really cool skiing and snowboarding. So let's see what's next. So the next stop on our list is Depot Bench, and this is the Depot Bench area, and you can literally hear my voice echoing off of these houses in here because it's so quiet in here. But this is actually a really cool area. And you're gonna find lots of pockets like this of a very popular product that we have here, which is a mid-century modern, where you've taken your mid-century home that was built in the 40s or 50s, and you've kept a lot of the stylistics of that time period, but then you've also modernized it. And I'm gonna show you a really good example here coming up when I turn the corner, but this is a cool area. Most of these homes were built in the 1950s. So again, another older part of Boise, but this is actually up by a little closer to the train depot, which I'll show some pictures of that now because that's one of our areas that's really very, very well known. It's kind of one of those areas that, you know, everybody goes from Boise and you get your senior pictures taken at the train depot. It's kind of just, you know, one of those nice areas. But so to give you a really good example of what I'm talking about, a mid-century modern would be this one here, where it's just really beautifully done, still keeping some of the characteristics of the old home, but then modernizing it and bringing it into today's life, today's time period. And so this one is not on the market. I did look, and if this gentleman wanted to put his home on the market, or this family wanted to put their home on the market, it would be probably somewhere around $641,000 is what he could probably list that for. But this is a nice area. As far as walkability, you know, it's decent. It's kind of older, so it's not really awesome, but it is a nice area, quiet. You can tell, you know, it's probably older people that live in this area, but really nice. If you ask any local in Boise what the Boise bench is, they'll have 20 different explanations for you of what they think the Boise bench is. But just so that everybody knows, from this local's perspective, this is the Boise bench, okay? Anything up here on this rim, up here on Federal Way and Vista and around this area, but mostly this Federal Way area, this is all considered the Boise bench, where you can actually look over onto the Boise Valley. People claim that they're in the bench or the Boise bench, and a couple of these areas are claiming to be the bench areas, but they're very, let's say, inland to what the actual bench is, but just to show you. So number 5 on our list is Veterans Park. And so again, we're still in the relatively close to downtown part of Boise. And so really, honestly, anything that's associated with the downtown part of Boise, it's all gonna be kind of pretty old, you know. There's gonna be some new construction that's pocketed in here and there. Like you can see, there's some brand new homes being put in here, and you know, these homes will be pretty nice when they're done. And they've got like some nice garages or some alley load behind it. But then, you know, you've got like an old apartment complex. This apartment complex was probably built in like the 60s, maybe 70s, but probably 60s. And then same with this one. This one's not, you know, it's just another apartment complex. So there's a couple apartment complexes in here. And, you know, the thing is, I really wanted to show you a really true depiction of what it shows when I go right to where the pin is. For Veterans Park, what I really wanted to do actually was when I got here, I was like, this isn't really the best depiction of Veterans Park. And so I wanted to drive you over to Veterans Memorial Park, which is actually, you know, a nice park that we have in the downtown area. But then I looked and saw that it was 5 minutes from here. And so it wasn't going to be, again, a true depiction of what this is saying are the walkable areas of Boise. And so for number 5 on the list, I would have to say, I really honestly wouldn't even put this on my list if I were making this list, which is really what's funny about these lists. You know for a fact that there aren't any locals putting these lists together. These lists are all just based off of data and Google statistics and all sorts of analytics and things that Redfin puts together and says, hey, you know, based on all of this data and all these statistics, this should be, on paper, says that this should be a really walkable, nice area. But I mean, come on, This is just an industrial, you know, it's got like some industrial area in it, and now, you know, just a couple minutes, we walked right out here to State Street, and this area is gonna just be okay. There's a decent school right across the way here. Growing up, that was a Catholic school, and so to be completely honest with you right now, I'm not really sure which school that is, but we're just gonna come right out onto State Street and, you know, to a tattoo place, hardware store, you know, kind of an older auto sales place, but nothing really exciting or nice or pleasurable down here. You know, you've got a good view. You can kind of see the foothills and the snow on the mountains, but I don't know. This one was just okay, if you want to ask me. So number 6 on our list is Central Bench, and it's extremely similar to Central Rim. In fact, it was very close, and because of that, I almost didn't film it, but because it was close, I decided that I would. So Central Bench, like if we look at this yellow home right here, that was built in the 1980s, and today, it's not listed right now, but if they were to sell that home, they would probably list it for just right around 406, maybe 405, somewhere around that range. They'd probably get around 400 for it. So this is Central Bench. So yeah, a lot of the homes were built in the 80s. You might find some in here that are pocketed that were maybe built in the 60s and 70s. Walkable, sure. Is it that nice? Not really. Is it new? No. I mean, I like this little, I love whenever I have a canal or anything like this that I can walk on. And so for me, I mean, look at this. You got an apple tree. Like actual real apples on a walking path. Yeah, I mean, as far as walkability is concerned, yeah, I'd find that pretty walkable. But it's you know, just a pretty average, normal community neighborhood from the 80s here in Boise. So this is Central Rim. And so same thing, kind of just a older part of Boise. You can kind of see that it does drop off and does kind of have an overlook, and you can kind of see the foothills over there. So you can see why it's called a rim, why it sits on a rim. But this is the Boise Rim, or Central Rim, or Bench Rim, or Central Rim, that's what it is, sorry. But older area, a lot of these homes were actually built in the 40s and 30s. In fact, I think it was this one. Yeah, this one right here was built in like 1930. And if they were to sell it today, good looking home actually. If they were to sell that today, they'd probably list it for about $360, and they'd probably get around that for it. But so, you know, as far as walkable and, you know, safe, I feel safe, it's walkable, it's decent, it's nice. It's nothing really like super extravagant or exciting. It's just, you know, kind of just a tour of our old Boise neighborhoods is really what this is turning out to be. But Central Rim. So number 8 on our list is Winstead Park. And to be completely honest, I probably would have put this up at number 1 or 2 as far as walkable areas. In fact, you can see someone walking their dog toward me right now. So I'm gonna try to not be a weirdo and walk directly at her. In terms of walkable, in terms of nice, in terms of really what you're gonna find as far as the majority of the average of what you're gonna find in established older Boise neighborhoods. This gray home right here was built in 1957. It's not on the market right now, but if it were, it'd probably be in the 3s, maybe just under 4. It's probably a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. That's kind of indicative of the homes in the day. They weren't full of bathrooms. But we're gonna jump across Northview here. We'll actually use the crosswalk. Let's see, this person's gonna let us go because people are nice here. And we're gonna walk right into the park here. And I mean, this is just pretty normal here. This would be as walkable as it gets. So like I said, I would have put this up much higher. I would have put this up at maybe number 1 or number 2, right after downtown Boise, because you just have people having a good time, having fun, having family time, being safe. So, really good area to use for an example. So number 9 on our list is South Boise Village. And so again, down here in an older area of Boise, right here next to Manitou Park, which is actually a really nice park. You've got tennis courts right there, so you've got access to tennis courts, basketball courts, full park area for the kids, nice area for the dogs to run around in. You might be able to see some puppos running around back there. So good, nice little area. You've got some older homes in here that are built in probably the 40s, 50s, 60s, and then some that are kind of newer, like this one here in the middle. Let me get over to it. This one was built here in 2007, and it's not on market, but if it were on market, it should sell for somewhere around $490. So to give you an idea of the values in the area here, but nice area. Yeah, I would agree that this is a walkable area. It's very nice, very quiet, very peaceful, and very safe. Great area of Boise. I appreciated coming to this one. So this is Vista, okay? And it's actually really not one of our nice areas. I wouldn't consider it one of our nice areas or a walkable area. And so to be honest with you, I didn't even want to get out and film it. I mean, there's just a strip club right up there. And then, you know, vape stores, a taco time. It's just an older area. It's just really not that great. So this is Vista. That was a lot of work, a lot of driving, to be completely honest with you. When I started out on this little journey, I was like, oh, we can just go and film these 10 neighborhoods. It'll be quick, it'll be easy. It won't take me too long, blah, blah, blah. Ugh. Traffic and driving and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so this list, this top 10 list, I don't know what to tell you. Here's the deal. Redfin, Zillow, all of these big box searching websites, they all do the same thing. They all use data. So there's not like this person. Sure, someone probably typed up the finished product in the finished article that I read to find these 10 neighborhoods, but the majority of this was really probably just computer generated or generated by data, or the data saying this area is safe because of crime statistics and this area is this because of this statistic. So what I did was I drove almost directly to where these pins were, because what was cool is when you look up the list, I'd pull it up, but I threw it on the floor, sorry, threw a temper tantrum. Anyway, but when I look at the list, it's not a list that a local, myself, born and raised and been here in Boise for 44 years, would have ever put together. In fact, there's a lot on there that I wouldn't consider even to be, that should have even been on that list. And what really sucks is now that I have shot this film for you, this video film, shot this video for you and put it out on YouTube for you to watch, now I have to make the next video, which is going to be the locals' perspective on what the top 10 or 5, we'll probably do 5 to be honest with you, 10 was a little bit overkill, but probably the top 5 most walkable neighborhoods in the Treasure Valley from my perspective. Because to be honest with you, some of these were neighborhoods that were a little bit run down, and when you walked out of the neighborhood, you'd walked into industrial areas or areas where you're going to find vape shops and tattoo shops and thrift stores and secondhand stores and places like that. And I don't want to say, don't take me wrong by any means, because I have tattoos, I shop at thrift stores, and you know, I frequent places like that. That said, a lot of people don't want their homes right next to places like that. So they were just okay. This list was just, it was just okay. It was a total BS Redfin put a bunch of data together and throw it out there so that hopefully it'll get some clicks is all it was. But it was fun. It did take me out and allow me to show you some areas that I might not have gone out and shown you. But really what it did was it made me really want to set up and make a better video for you next time. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set out and make a better video for you next time and show you actually some nice, beautiful neighborhoods that feel very nice to walk around in and feel very safe. And that was one thing is that, you know, all these neighborhoods did feel safe. So there wasn't really a safety feature, but they just were, some of them just were meh, okay. But anyway, thank you for coming along on the journey with me and for checking out the update on the market this month, this week, whatever. Stay tuned for next week's video. Like I said, it should be a good one. But you know that Boise and the Treasure Valley is the place for you. You've been following my channel for a while. I'm not selling you anything. I'm just telling you what it is. And if you love what it is, you know that you love what it is, you know you have to have it, call me, email me, text me. Days, nights, weekends, myself, my team, we've got your back when it comes to moving to Boise and the Treasure Valley. We'll see you next time.